Bad girl, what you want, what you gonna do when truck come down on you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do. Bad girl, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when truck come for you? Bad girl, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when truck come for you? You were home, bothered no one. You ran to folks and had 4 roommates. So why, schwa, you acting like a bloody fool? If schwa get hot, schwa must get cool. Bad girl, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when schwa come for you? Bad girl, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when schwa come for you? What crime do you think I committed? Did I murder someone? Did I have a crack house? Did I harbor any stolen property on my land? No. I rented my 4 available bedrooms. That's my crime. If renting your bedrooms that you do not need in your own bedroom is illegal, then the bylaws are wrong. The bylaws were written such a long time ago. The society has changed so much that the bylaws can not be applied in today's reality. When houses are so expensive, the only way for some people to afford homeownership or to retain homeownership is to share their home. Sharing your home is not only advantageous to the homeowner, it also helps students, welfare, and ODSP recipients. Most of them can't afford an apartment on their own. Did you know that many of the houses that are rented by the students are illegal because they have more than 3 non-related people living together? Typically, 4 or 6 students will share a 3-bedroom house. There's such a shortage of affordable housing that the city officials have just turned a blind eye and are not enforcing the bylaws as long as they don't receive a complaint. Municipal bylaws were written in an age where a house was meant to house a family. But nowadays, what is a family? A 1-unit family versus non-related people sharing a house. Since the law wasn't totally rewritten, bylaws were just modified a bit. So now the bylaw officers are trying to evaluate if people are living like a family. Are 4 or 5 students living like a family just because they are all students? That doesn't make them any more living like a family than my situation. If that makes sense to you, it sure doesn't make sense to me. It is so convoluted to apply the bylaws objectively that after spending at least 2 hours in my 2-unit house, after inspecting all the rooms and taking pictures of all the rooms, opening all the closets, and even going through my paper, the officers, including a supervisor, couldn't tell me whether I was within their definition of living like a family. Just imagine if the traffic law were so vague and it would say, instead of posting a sign with speed like 50 kilometers an hour, they would say, drive at a safe speed. It would get many different interpretations of what safe speed is. Well, I think municipal bylaws are just as ambiguous. I don't think the city should have a right to tell you who you can live with, as long as you're not disturbing your neighbors and you are not overcrowding. Many of our laws were written to protect our rights. That's why police officers just can't search your house unless they have a warrant. And in order to obtain a warrant, they have to have some evidence that you committed a crime. But in case of the municipal bylaws, as long as they receive a complaint, they can ask for a warrant. Complaints can be from anyone. It could be from your ex-partner or someone who holds a grudge against you. It could be also reported by the cops. Shortly before the alleged complaint, I called the cops because I had to evict a roommate. She had become mentally ill and she was dangerous to the other roommates. and unable to look after herself. When the cops came, one of the cops said, "Wow, it's the best lodging house I've seen." But when he writes this comment in his report, the information is sent to the city and fire department. It is regarded as a complaint. The city must investigate every complaint. You can see how this can become an abusive law. When you become a homeowner, you lose your rights to privacy, your rights to enjoying your property. In my case, to abide by the bylaws and receive the same income I have to share my big unit with 2 roommates and rent my other unit separately. So I own a house and I can't even enjoy living alone in my smaller unit and use my office from the second unit and rent my remaining 4 bedrooms. In my case, they should have been satisfied of the safety of the house because in 2012, I did major renovations. It included rewiring the house, and city officials inspected the house and made sure it met the municipal and fire code standards. At that time, they I added sprinklers as part of the basement and a fire door between the 2 units. Just the fact that I live in the first unit instead of the second shouldn't bring so many changes to the regulations. With the same amount of people, I shouldn't be required to fork out so much money and to have another electrical inspection, laundry isolation, and other fire door. Many more houses are riskier than mine as I have a non-smoking rule. The fact that I live in the house also makes it safer as I can keep an eye on what is going on. How many houses have had an electrical inspection in the last 6 years? Stop discriminating against single people living in a house and wanting to rent to roommates. Cities need to manage their housing stock to make sure it is safe, but they need to do it fairly and they need to be able to enforce it. Only way they will solve the issue is by encouraging more affordable housing development. Just recently, there's been a fire at a single detached house in Scarborough. I can see where people will say, close these houses, but let's face it, if there were other affordable housing options, you would not have 5 students cramming in 1 basement. The students are educated, or they should be. They would have picked another option. The homeowner would not be able to rent to so many students. The other way, when you don't provide enough housing, more people will live in one house because they need to live somewhere. How will you monitor it? By searching every single house? Even if you do, more people will move back in because they need a place to live. Compared to a lot of countries, we have many laws to protect our rights, but we still have laws that were written a long time ago, and they are very abusive, like some of the municipal bylaws. I obtain permits when I renovated. I don't disturb my neighbors, and I don't overcrowd my house. If a house was built with 6 bedrooms, the building code should have taken care to make sure it is safe for 6 to 7 people to live there. Don't let the city decide who can live with you. Don't let the city tell you that you cannot have locks on your bedroom door. The bylaws are unfairly and subjectively enforced. They should be totally revamped. It is also too easy for the authority to get a warrant to invade your privacy. How would you like to get a home invasion with 6 or 7 officers wearing bulletproof vests and some with guns? My roommate told me he counted 9 cruisers in front of my house. Am I really living in Canada? Is this really legal? This is abuse of power. Remember, all I did is share my house with roommates and work from home. Bad girl, what you gonna do when Schwa come for you? I'm going to use social media to get support. People show me that the use of social media is an effective way of fighting the system. Help me change unfair bylaw by writing below the video, change the bylaw, or by liking me.